When it comes to search engine optimization or SEO, an essential part of the content creation process is topical mapping. A topical map is a hierarchical collection of blog post topics within your niche. So it allows you to organize and plan your content to cover everything necessary to establish strong topical authority. So this is all about topical authority. And this is typically organized into a spreadsheet for easy management, or you can even do this into a mind map visualization so you can see your whole content structure. So why is a topical map important? Well, Google is continually evolving ever more as a semantic search engine. So this means that it can understand the meaning of your content, both looking at the individual post, but also add as a site-wide level of all your content together. So by building a strong collection of posts around a particular topic, both your users and your search engines can recognize your expertise and trustworthiness on the subject. So a topical map is your foundation for this. It helps improve your rankings overall because you're becoming a strong authority within your niche. So no longer can you simply target a long list of random long tail keywords. While these types of keywords are still very important, you also need to cover your subject matter at a higher level and also in a strategic way. So with the help of ChatGPT, you can easily organize a strong map of your subject matter. So in this video, you'll learn how to use a series of ChatGPT prompts to build your topical map, add your topical map to a spreadsheet, continue building out your topical map, and then how to properly execute your topical map as a strategy. So first, you'll need to prepare a list of your post titles. So if you already have posts on your site, you'll need to get a list of all the titles. We're going to use this in the topical map. Now, if your website doesn't have any content yet, you can skip this step. But for those that do, gathering a list of your post titles can be a little bit time consuming, especially if you have a lot of posts on your site. So the easiest way I've done this is by launching a draft page in WordPress and using a block to display a feed of all my blog posts. So I've just opened up a new page here in WordPress, and I'm using the Cadence theme with Cadence Blocks plugin. So that uses the Gutenberg editor, and it has a element built in there, a block that I can use to display my post feed. So that's how I'm going to grab this. But depending on what tech you're using or plugins, this will be a little bit different for you. And worst case scenario, if you can't speed this up by using a block, just go into your blog feed or your sitemap and go one by one, take all your post titles and put them in an Excel spreadsheet. But I'll just show you if you're using Gutenberg with Cadence Blocks or something else similar to that. I'll just show you what I do. So I load up a brand new page here, and the block that I'm going to use is just called posts. And you can see this starts pulling in my posts. And we're going to change some settings here because this is too hard to copy and paste because it has categories and images here. So I am going to disable the image, disable the category, and we also want to put this into one column. And we have some other stuff we need to do. We need to unbox this. We need to turn the number of items way up so we can see all our posts. And then we have some additional information that needs to be removed. So all this information, the excerpt, read more. And there we go. Now we have a list of just all of our post titles. So now that I have this, all I have to do is highlight the whole page like that, take that and copy it into a spreadsheet. And there we go. Now I have all my post titles, and this will make it easy to copy and paste this into the ChatGPT prompt once we get to that step. Now it's time to open up ChatGPT, and we're going to start with one prompt and then we'll follow it with another prompt. So we're going to start by getting ChatGPT thinking about how to create a good topical map. So here's the prompt that you want to enter, and you can find this on my website. If you go to the description of this video and click on that link, you'll see that I have the prompts easily there for you to copy and paste. So let's copy this prompt into ChatGPT, and let's enter in our topic, which is Toyota Tacoma, and let's generate that. Okay, now we have our output, and you don't have to do anything with this output. We're just using this as a precursor to our prompt to generate the topical map. So for the next prompt, you have two options depending on whether you have a list of posts or if you're starting from scratch. So again, go to my website, go to that blog post that I have that has the prompts. I'll also display them on screen if you want to type them out, of course. and then choose the one whether you have existing posts or if you don't. Since I have existing posts, I'm going to use this prompt and paste that in. Remember to replace the empty spots there with your niche name. So mine is Toyota Tacoma, and then we have a list of my URLs here. So we're going to copy that at the bottom. And then just press enter and it'll start to do its thing. So now we have our response from ChatGPT, and this is where you could have some issues sometimes. So we're seeing here that this should be a 3-level hierarchy, but we're really only getting 2 levels because it's focusing a little bit too much on the list of posts that I'm giving it. So we can see we have 1 level here, and then we have our 2nd level that it's categorizing, and it's not really giving me additional ideas for posts. It's just repeating my post titles back to me, and then down here it does do a little bit better of job of structuring this, but overall it's not really generating new ideas. It should. You can try regenerating the response. It should do a better job of coming up with new ideas. If it's not doing that, then I recommend using the other prompt and maybe not giving it your list of posts. And then you can always take your list of posts after the fact and add that into the topical map that it comes with from scratch. And I'll adjust the prompts if this continues to be an issue for people. But most of the time that I've used this, I've gotten a great response, and it does a really good job. But it looks like in this particular case, it isn't quite doing a good job. So this is actually a good demonstration for the video in case this happens to you. So let's actually go back, and we're going to use the other prompt since this one is giving us a little bit of trouble. So I'm just going to edit my response. And I'm not going to add my list of posts. And let's save and submit that. And it's going to generate another response for us. Okay, now we have our response. We can see that this is looking a lot better. It has our main categories here, vehicle overview and specifications, maintenance and care. And then we have subcategories for those as well. So our overview and specs, we go into different generations of the vehicle, and then we have subtopics under that. So we can see this is our level 1 topic, we have our level 2 below that, and then these level 3 topics below that. So that's how I'll be referencing this throughout the rest of the video. Is we have our level 1 topics, which are really high level, level 2, which is a step down, a little bit more granular, but still like usually comprehensive guides. And then we have the level 3 topics underneath those, which are very specific articles and also tend to be a bit shorter. So I've already created a topical map actually using search engine optimization as an example topic. So I'm going to switch over to that since I already have that topical map already finished. And I'll put a graphic on the screen here just breaking down so you can clearly see the level 1, level 2, level 3 topics as I sort of just explained a second ago. And here's what it should look like once you copied over from ChatGPT into a spreadsheet. This is a topical map about search engine optimization. So if you were starting a blog about search engine optimization, this would be a topical map that you could use. So you can see that column A is going to be our level 1 topics, B is going to be our column 2 our level 2 topics, and then column C is going to be our level 3 topics. And we can see we organize these into clusters, or I guess a hierarchy is a better way to explain it. So we can see that these level 2 topics are clearly go underneath this parent topic, and then we can see that our level 3 topics go underneath this level 2 parent topic. So hopefully that makes sense. So your level 1 topics are parent to your level 2 topics, and your level 2 topics are parent to your level 3 topics. Now, as we all know, ChatGPT is not perfect. As we saw in the example a little bit ago, it did have a little bit of trouble with that. So you do need to play around with it sometimes. So regardless of how great the response is, you'll always want to expand these topics within the map, especially the long tail level 3 topics, because it usually only comes up with maybe 3 or 5 topics or post ideas within those level 3 topics. Ideally, you want to expand this out a lot more over time. Additionally, I've found that a lot of the times it doesn't give me blog post titles for these level 1 and level 2 topics. So like beforehand, this just said meta tags, and then I turn that into a actual post title because eventually it is going to be a post. So it's important to understand that these are not categories, especially these level 1 and level 2 topics. They look like categories, especially the way that ChatGPT spits them out a lot of the time. So For example, when I first got this response, this was on-page SEO, this was meta tags, and then we had our actual post titles in this third level here. But really, these are not, they look like categories when ChatGPT spits them out to you, but these should be posts. So you should be actually giving these titles, and these are going to be long, comprehensive posts about these topics. So for example, let's look at a portion of this topical map that I've already generated. So we have our level 1 topic of fundamentals of SEO, a definitive guide. Underneath that, our level 2 topic is how to perform on-page optimization. And then we have some level 3 topics under that, as you can see on the screen. So let's imagine we're going to write the level 2 post, how to perform on-page optimization. So this is going to be a long, comprehensive post covering everything related to on-page SEO. It will include topics mentioned in your level 3 post. So the URLs, the headlines, the quick tips, and other relevant information, anything to do with on-page SEO. However, in this level 2 blog post, we're not going to go into immense detail about headlines. Yes, we'll have a small section about headlines because it's important and relevant to on-page SEO. But if you go into immense detail about headlines and every other aspect of on-page SEO in one single post, your post would be so lengthy that it would be difficult to navigate, difficult to consume, and overall just not a good experience to your readers. So instead, we'll have our small section about headlines in our level 2 posts, and we'll have an internal link going to a level 3 post that dives deep into headlines by themselves. So this allows people who are interested in learning just about headlines to access a comprehensive resource of information on that topic alone. Now that you have your map created, it's time to start writing. So don't just start picking random topics on the map. You should produce content in different clusters. So clusters are sections of your topical map that have a parent-child relationship. So looking at my example here, we have our parent topic in our level 1 section, which says a comprehensive guide about on-page SEO. And the cluster that we're looking at is that plus the level 2 topics that are contained within that. So just highlighting that here, that's going to be all of these until we get down to our next cluster. So think of this box right here, this is a cluster. And then another example of a cluster would be starting with our level 2 as a parent and highlighting the level 3s that are underneath that. So this is another cluster, but it's a step down. So in general, I recommend starting with a level 1 cluster like the one I just highlighted, like this. And the reason for that is that you may uncover additional level 2 topics to add to your topical map while writing the level 1 post. So while I'm writing about on-page SEO, sure, I already know I want to talk about meta tags and optimal URL structure, but I may discover additional things that I want to eventually write level 2 posts on while I'm researching this big comprehensive level 1 post. And then once you've completed your level 1 and level 2 posts within that cluster, you can start working on these sub clusters. So anything underneath these, you can start working on those. So to figure out which clusters to start with first, I would ask yourself these questions. So which of these topics are likely to perform well based on the existing data I have in Google Search Console or Google Analytics? And which clusters contain the most low competition keywords? Also, which clusters are most relevant to your niche? So I also want to emphasize the importance of internal links and how it ties all of this together. So naturally, your parent posts will discuss topics contained in the child posts. So for example, your level 1 post should contain contextual links to your level 2 posts. So we have our comprehensive guide about on-page SEO, and we know that we'll have a section about meta tags in there. So when we're writing that section on meta tags, we want to eventually link from that section about meta tags to our full post about meta tags. So this allows readers to learn more about that if they wish to do so. Setting these links properly are important to help users find what they're looking for, and it also makes it easier for Google to crawl your site and build an understanding of how your website ties together as a whole. Additionally, if you build backlinks to one of your parent posts, like that level 1 post, those benefits will be partially passed down to those child posts. So this means that the clusters in your topical map can see improved ranking as a whole, even if you only drive backlinks to a single parent post. So that's a huge benefit. We know that backlinking is not an easy thing to do, so this is a great way to really structure your website to take advantage of any backlinks that you do generate. So I found this technique really helpful for topical mapping, so I have a lot of other people that have used this already. Before implementing this, I felt that I was just randomly choosing keywords. I also focused way too much on low competition keywords and never really wrote these higher level posts that my audience wanted to see and Google wanted to see. And again, ChatGPT can be tricky to work with sometimes, so there's always a chance that you'll need to modify these prompts based on your niche. We saw earlier that the niche that I was using as an example had some issues, so feel free to adjust the prompts, and I'll probably update the prompts in my blog posts regularly whenever I can make improvements to that. So definitely check that out. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below, or you can reach me at my website, wpcharger.io. We offer website management and support services specifically designed for bloggers and digital publishers. So that's something I'd highly recommend checking out because that could really benefit your website. And we're also happy to help out with things like topical mapping, whether it's just answering some quick questions or even doing the whole thing for you. So happy to answer any questions there.